This is an election conducted solely for the benefit of the military and its allies. The public isn't going to accept it, and neither will I.
Personally, I don't want to vote, but because we live in the city, we are under the region's theft. We are too close to them to ignore the consequences if we stay away from the poll.
Hello and welcome to Dohathan, a weekly podcast from the Frontier family about human rights stories from Myanmar. Residents of rural areas of the Central Dry Zone controlled by resistance forces have been vocal about their opposition to the regime's upcoming election, and even those living in towns under the watchful eyes of the junta show little interest in voting.
We are much better off here in the countryside than in the cities. Candidates don't dare to come here to campaign for votes because no one wants them. They are well aware of this, so they stay away.
Thwet Thwet Win is a 32-year-old farmer from Thwet Thwet village in Sagaing Region's Ayada Township. Her area has been controlled by revolutionary forces since the February 2021 coup, and she and other local residents will not vote in the junta's election, scheduled to start on December 28 and continue into January. Thwet Thwet Win voted for the first time in the 2020 general election, casting her ballot for candidates from the National League for Democracy. Now, she has no desire to participate in an election organized by the same military that imprisoned NLD leader Aung San Suu Kyi and the other candidates she voted for.
It's an election by the military for the military. If they want to hold an illegitimate election, they should release Aung San Suu Kyi and all other detained leaders and allow the NLD to compete again. In that case, the people would accept the results. This is an election conducted solely for the benefit of the military and its allies. The public isn't going to accept it, and neither will I.
People like Thwet Thwet Win, who live in areas controlled by armed resistance groups, say the election has nothing to do with them. But in cities and towns where the military junta holds sway, names of residents have been collected and posted on voter lists. In Sagaing's Monhua town, for example, authorities are reportedly conducting rigorous checks of household lists and guest registrations in the lead up to the election. Ma Kin, 29, runs a small grocery shop in Monhua. She voted in the 2015 and 2020 elections, supporting the NLD each time, but has not decided whether she will vote in the upcoming election. She said that, like her, many others remain undecided.
Everyone is talking about the fear they feel. If we don't vote, we don't know what might happen to us. If we do vote, we still don't know what might happen. Personally, I don't want to vote, but because we live in the city, we are under the region's theft. We are too close to them to ignore the consequences if we stay away from the poll. On the other hand, there is the guilt that my vote could empower the region and lead to the destruction of the other families and village.
Ma Kin added that in the Central Dry Zone, where support for Aung San Suu Kyi and her NLD party remains strong, people were able to elect the government of their choice in 2015 and 2020, but they no longer have that opportunity.
What is different now is there is no freedom to choose. In 2015, we could vote for who we truly believe in. And vote represented the will of the people. We had the power to elect the government we wanted, which is why the NLD won by a landslide. But the military couldn't accept that. We can see the progress made during Aung San Suu Kyi's 5 years in office after years of no progress during the military's long rule.
Resistance forces generally view the junta's election as a political exit strategy for the military. Within the resistance, some have resorted to armed struggle, while others are using non-violent methods. Ko Luan Thu is a member of the Yinmabin Silingi Multi-Village Public Strike Steering Committee. Since early this year, the group has organized anti-election protests under the message, "No exit for the military." At its height, the campaign attracted more than 500 supporters, but participation declined after the military used paramotors to drop bombs on a crowd of protesters in Chang'u town in Sagaing.
Throughout history, revolutions have moved forward with armed resistance in tandem with unarmed resistance. Our group believes that expressing the power of the people through non-violent methods is an important strategy for bringing down the junta. We believe that to end military dictatorship and fascism, we must fight not only through military means, but also through political means. That's why we are putting all our energy and strength into peacefully opposing the junta's sham election.
Ko Luan Thu's group organizes a variety of protests, from marches in the street and motorcycle rallies to public speeches and displays of signboards. Some villages have daily or weekly anti-election protests with 10 to 20 participants. Organizers say these activities are effective in demonstrating public involvement and the power of the people. Resistance forces have vowed to disrupt the poll, but Ko Luan Thu said the anti-election movement should be non-violent. He warned that the use of weapons against those voting on election day could provide the military with an excuse to retaliate.
Violence is not the right approach against voters. People will go to the polls because they are coerced at gunpoint by the junta. Instead of blaming them for voting, we need to understand they have no choice. These voters are not military targets, so a military solution is inappropriate. Our fight is with the military. If we act recklessly, there is a risk of collateral damage where both supporters and opponents of the military are caught in the middle. It's also possible that the military will stage their own explosions to blame us even if we do not attack. So, it's essential to analyze the situation based on cause and effect, potential benefits, and strategic limitations.
He said that following the election, the military could make concessions or offer peace talks in an attempt to regain control over the entire country. Nevertheless, he said that the election is unlikely to result in the formation of a new government or in any significant political change. Thwet Thwet Win said that despite her hopes for a swift return to peace in the country, she does not see the election as the way to make that happen.
Of course, I want peace more than anything. My family is safe and my village is peaceful. But some of my friends and relatives are paying with their lives. I cannot accept what has happened to them. I want the conflict to end quickly so no more people have to suffer. Junta Chief Mayor Online must be arrested and held responsible. The idea that everything will become peaceful just because of an election? That's never going to happen.
Thanks for listening to this edition of dohathan. This project on human rights reporting is supported by Fundación Hirondelle, with the help of our donors. This episode is produced by freelance journalist Esther J. Some names may have been changed to protect contributors. We would welcome your feedback on social media, and please follow or subscribe to our pages. You can listen to our podcasts via the Dohathan Facebook page. They can also be found on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and Telegram. Please tune in again next week.